First of all, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Thomas Marsh, and my friend for now I think 8 years, Muchi, has invited me to talk about this possible project to create a memorial to Petro Zheji. And I would like to give you a little background of this. Muchi and I met at the Victims of Communism Memorial in Washington, D.C. We calculate about 8 years ago. And each year we meet and have a conversation. He's met my 2 sons. He's watched them grow up. They were little boys the first time we met, and now they are grown men, young men, 18 and 20 years old. So Muchi and I have a history together of conversations once a year, but important conversations because we talk about the meaning of freedom, about what creating a memorial for those who have suffered under communism means, what that means. And several years ago, while Mr. Zheji was still alive, Muchi suggested to me that I think about the possibility of creating a monument or a memorial to Mr. Zheji. So we have discussed this over several years as a possibility, and we are still pursuing this idea. There is a strong connection between political freedom and religious freedom, which we as Americans are very fortunate to understand, and I would say unfortunate to take for granted, because those born in America today assume that truth, unless they have had experiences knowing people who have suffered under communism or any totalitarian regime where religion is not permitted or is openly persecuted. Then these Americans cannot understand that. I only know through stories that people have told me and things I have read about the horrors that communism and other dictatorships have put upon people of faith, of religious faith. I have been very fortunate to never have suffered myself in any political way. But I have been so deeply moved by students of mine and friends who have, for example, suffered under communism in China, that when the opportunity came to create a monument to the victims of communism, I felt that this was something that God had placed in front of me that I needed to do. In other words, it would have been wrong not to do it. And the hand of God and providence is everywhere in the success of that Victims of Communism Memorial. I played one part in that big picture, in that whole complex project. And now, with the possibility of a monument to Petro Zheji, I've come to understand through Muchi and Vizar that Mr. Zheji was a man of deep religious faith. In fact, they have told me that in Albania, when the communist atheists were so powerful that they destroyed all the churches and closed everything to religion, that Petro Zheji continued to find ways that for Catholics Mass could be said. And I can only imagine that he created in his actions, he created a great symbol for people of all faiths in Albania to feel that they cannot give up. And of course, now more than 25 years since, at least in name, that freedom has come to Albania, and now people are, I believe, they are free to worship in Albania. Right? It may be time in such a monument to Mr. Zheji to acknowledge what he did for those who believe in God. I have seen this picture and took the liberty to make a print of it, and this, from my perspective as an artist, is the image of a very intelligent and deep-thinking man. Just the look of it. And of course, what I have read about Mr. Zheji's history is he was brilliant, must have been a genius, and it would truly be a privilege to be able to do a monument that incorporates his portrait,